What up YouTube? I hope you're doing well. I recorded this video for my clients on a webinar that I did recently, and I thought it's an amazing video for people if you wanted to lose weight or if you want to know a little bit more about macros, about calorie deficit, which I get questions about all the time on my social media. I thought, do you know what, I'll put this video out for everyone to watch. You'll have a load of information on this, and by the end of it, hopefully you'll be a lot more educated on how to actually lose weight, which I know a lot of people want the answer to. So hopefully you enjoy it. Give it a like, share it with a friend, or give me a subscribe. Macronutrients and how does a calorie deficit work? So one of the things that I really want to do, especially with the Inspire Uplift Club, is not only show people what to do and show them, like, put the plans in place for them, but also educate them on sort of how everything works and really help them to understand how weight loss works, how sort of fitness works, how nutrition works, all these kind of things. And I've been quite critical of a lot of like modern day dieting things because they don't actually teach people, like Slimming World for example, Weight Watchers, they don't actually teach people what a calorie deficit is, what macros do, what carbs do, what fats do, proteins, and all they're doing is just say eat this amount of food and you'll lose weight. Obviously you're going to lose weight if you really drastically cut your calories, but they're not actually educating them. So what I'm going to try and do with this, and very recently someone said to me about doing a shake diet, and I thought, right, what I really need to do is just educate people as much as possible, give everything that I've learned, and everything that I learned. So when I was doing my bodybuilding shows, I got obsessed with this kind of thing, and this is where I really learned everything. I was just searching everything. So what I'm going to quickly do is just I'm going to touch on everything as brief as possible. It's going to be quite a long video, but just explain what macronutrients are, what micronutrients are, how a calorie deficit works, how weight loss works, how weight gain works, and all this kind of thing. So we'll get straight into it. So we've got macronutrients, we've also got micronutrients. So macronutrients and micronutrients are nutrients, things that our body absorbs from food that our body uses for like bodily functions, whether that be for energy, whether that be for recovery, whether it be for like functions in the liver, functions in like blood, all these kind of things. So nutrients are things that we absorb from food, and we've got macronutrients and micronutrients. Macronutrients, and the reason why macronutrients are a lot more well known in the dieting world is because macronutrients are the ones that contain calories. So macronutrients are protein, carbs and fats. Protein contains 4 calories per gram, carbs contains 4 calories per gram, and fats contains 9 calories per gram. We've also got one more which not a lot of people know. So alcohol is actually a macronutrient because it contains calories. It's 7 calories per gram, but not a lot of people know that it's not got a lot of nutritional value, though. It doesn't really contain much that our body absorbs, which is why it's called empty calories. So we've got macronutrients. So we've also got micronutrients. Micronutrients are basically vitamins and minerals. So we've got vitamin D, vitamin E, vitamin B, vitamin C. We've also got like magnesium, zinc, all the minerals which are really good for like recovery, for sleep, for things like that. So the reason that I'm going to focus more on macronutrients is because this is how dieting works, and I understand a lot of people want to lose weight, and if you ask most people would they change something on the body, they'd say yes. Most people's, like, we're all insecure about something, but most people's insecureness has something to do around weight gain or weight loss. So what I'm going to do is explain how macronutrients fit into sort of weight loss. So macronutrients, like I say, we've got protein, carbs and fats. If you're tracking your calories, which a lot of people track the macros, that's why it's called tracking your macros or counting calories. The two things that you really need to kind of focus on are calories intake. So let's say you're eating 1,800 calories a day, and your protein intake. The reason being, carbs and fats do the same role in the body. Nuance, it's different, slightly different roles, but they do pretty much the same thing. So think of carbs and fats as the energy source that we run off. Like the car uses petrol, we use carbs and fats. What actually happens, and this is how we gain fat. So we consume carbs and fats, and it gets stored in the muscle as glycogen. Now glycogen, it gets stored in the muscle. So every time you move in the muscle, we're using glycogen, which is storage of carbs and fats, as fuel. So really simply, we eat food, it gets stored as glycogen in the body, and then we use that, we burn that to move to, like every exercise we do, we're burning glycogen. If we burn through the glycogen, we start burning body fat. But if we don't burn the glycogen off, it gets stored as body fat. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. If not, ask me about it. But basically, these two are these are our energy sources, carbs and fats. So they pretty much do the same thing. So whether you wanted to diet and you want to go a little bit higher on the carbs because you enjoy bread or you enjoy pasta, or you want to go lower on the carbs, higher on the fats because you enjoy nuts, you enjoy steak, things like that. It doesn't really matter, but what is key is protein. Protein has so many benefits, and I could do a full video on protein, like all its benefits. But protein is like a recovery. So when we're walking, it's like strengthening and recovery. So like it's really good for the muscle, it's really good for the liver, for like digestive system, all these kind of things. We do use a very small percentage, I believe, for energy. So like these two, I think we use a very small percentage of protein for energy. So they're macros. So basically they're the calories that we eat. Now what I want to do is talk to you about neat versus eat. Now I've spoke about this and there's a video in the education series on this, so I don't want to go too deep into this. Right, so we've got neat versus eat. So basically this graph is showing how we burn our calories. So this is all the exercise, like going for a jog or going to the gym or doing your at-home workout. That's your exercise. That only accounts to, believe it or not, 5%. And we've got thermal effect of food, so we actually burn calories whilst we're eating food. That equates to 10%. And then we've got non-exercise activity thermogenesis, 15%. So all the activity that we do throughout the day, so moving about, when I'm literally doing my hand signals here, we're actually burning calories. Like if you're tapping your foot quite a lot, if you're like nodding your head to the music, that's going to be your neat. So like, believe it or not, every movement that we do actually takes energy to do. So that's the non-exercise activity thermogenesis. This is why I say it's so important to get your steps up, because that really equates to getting your neat up. And if you're not fueling yourself upright, and I'll put a video in after this, if you're not fueling yourself upright, that neat is going to come down massively. You could not burn hundreds and hundreds of calories just without fueling yourself upright, because you're literally moving about like this, you're barely even moving. And then we've got basal metabolic rates, so your metabolism. So the way that we actually lose weight, so what I'm going to do is just rub all this off. So now we move on to calorie deficit. The reason that I've shown you this is because I want to show you how we burn calories. It's not just the exercise, it's not just we burn 400 calories during exercise and that's only the calories that we burn. We burn calories all day long. We burn it in so many different ways. We burn calories when we're sleeping, when we're digesting food, loads of different ways. So we've got a calorie deficit. So what I'm going to do, let's take, for example, someone eats 1,800 calories every single day for a week. For them to be in a calorie deficit, what they'd have to do is eat burn more than 1,800 calories. So take for example, if they burn 2,000 calories altogether on average for a week, we'll take this as average for the week because no one's ever going to be perfect, like average. So we consume 1,800 calories on average for the week and we burn 2,000 calories on average for the week. This will put us, excuse me, in a 200 calorie deficit. So these 2,000 calories that we burn on average every single day don't just come from exercise. This is a mistake a lot of people make, thinking they've got to burn 2,000 calories during the workout to be in a calorie deficit, but you definitely don't. As you can see, it doesn't actually equate to that much. Obviously, we need to still keep working out, and some days this might be up to 15–20% if you have a really intense workout, but you're not going to be having them every single day. But all the things that we do, whether we're sleeping, whether it's just our metabolism, whether it be the non-exercise activity thermogenesis, equate to the amount of calories that we burn. The trickiest thing about this equation, no one actually knows exactly how many calories they're burning. People say to me, oh, I'm in a calorie deficit, but I'm not losing weight. You're probably not in a calorie deficit then, because it's science. This is how we work. So remember I say, if we're not burning, we store 1,800 worth of calories. Not all of it, a lot of it gets burnt as we're doing it, but we store the calories, 1,800. If we burn all of that off, we have to then use fat as fuel. If we don't have fat, we start to then use muscle. This is why if you go to constant, well, like if you got captured by someone and they didn't feed you, this is why you see people go really, really skinny, because they burn off all the body fat first, then they burn off all the muscle. So if they're consuming 1,800 calories and then we're burning 2,000, it's going to put us in a 200 calorie deficit. This is then, over time, is going to be what helps us to lose weight. So that is basically the science of weight loss. This is how the calorie deficit works. If you want to tone up, you're probably better off going consuming around 2,000 and burning 2,000, because what you're going to be doing is probably burning a small amount of body fat and putting on a little bit of muscle. That's going to help you to tone up. This is known as maintenance or calorie maintenance. If you want to put on weight or put on muscle, you want to do it the other way around. So you're consuming 2,200 calories, but you're only burning 2,000. This is going to mean that you're storing the extra 200 calories, and that's going to get stored either in muscle, if you're working the muscle properly and you're recovering, you're eating your protein, because remember, protein is good for recovery, or, sorry, I've lost my train of thought. If you're not working the muscle properly, it's going to then get stored as body fat. So hopefully that makes sense. But what I would do want to make clear, body fat isn't the devil. You don't want, trust me, I've been 4% body fat and it's not nice. Like, body fat is healthy. Like, we need excess stores of body fat. So hopefully all this makes sense. So I kind of just want to explain how a calorie deficit works, what I'm going to do as well is put a video in here talking a little bit more neat on eat, and I'll probably show it to you on the webinar. But hopefully all that makes sense. I'm pretty sure I've covered everything there. Basically, we've got macros, macronutrients, what we consume. We've got a calorie deficit. Like, we need to be burning more calories than what we're consuming if you want to lose weight. So yeah, hopefully all that makes sense. Like, losing weight is pretty simple when you think about it. All you have to do is burn more calories than what you consume. There's a lot of information out there, and like what proteins to have, what this to have, that to eat at this certain way, to fast. But the fundamental simple part about it is, if you're in a calorie deficit, more than likely, other than a very few things that could put it off, you're going to lose, like, and I know what the question is going to be now, what could put it off. It's more than likely hormones. Menopause can play a big part in this. Your hormones can change quite a lot. Your metabolism can slow down a little bit. But you can still lose weight if you're in a calorie deficit. So hopefully that makes sense.